The year 2015 is here. The year of new hopes, new beginnings for everyone and for the real estate industry too. And today, on Expert Advice, we have with us Paresh Karia of EC2 Own Estate, who shall speak on how 2015 shall treat the real estate sector. Hello and welcome to the show, sir. So 2015 is here. So first of all, we would like to wish you a very happy new year.
Wish you the same.
Thank you so much. So tell us, 2015, it has brought a lot of hopes for the real estate industry. So what one could expect in this year?
Well, like you rightly said, 2015 we are beginning with a very optimistic note, and the reason for same has been the number of policy announcements made by the government in the previous year, especially for the real estate sector. Starting with the liberalization of FDI, with focus on affordable housing, with amendment to the Land Ordinance Act, and the smart cities, the special investment regions, so on and so forth. So everybody is looking forward to 2015.
So you spoke about the policies, the changes, the decision making that happened in 2014. So do you feel the similar kind of policy making will happen in 2015?
Well, let me say that, we have seen the initiation of policy reforms, and I think that will continue. While you will not see too many major announcements, but we will see a lot of minor announcements speaking of the policies, etc., to facilitate what has already been announced in the previous year.
So could we expect any permanent changes regarding the policies or maybe the pricing or anything like that?
As far as the policy, let's talk on policy front. As far as the policy is concerned, we need to give a fillip to all these policies which were announced in the previous year. For instance, the land reforms, the Land Acquisition Act, the ordinance has been passed, and now we need to see that the ordinance, mostly it should see the light of the day. We should see, some kind of an announcement on the real estate regulator front. We have not seen anything on that front happening in 2014. Maybe some kind of an announcement may happen on that front in the year 2015. Some kind of big bang infrastructure announcements happening, because that is a key, that is very essential announcements on the road development front. 2014 was completely stagnant as far as roadways are concerned. So you will see some kind of a policy announcement happening on the roads front, on the waterways, transportation. Those are the kind of things which one can expect on the policy front in the year to come.
Which could be the emerging realities, the destinations of 2015?
The destinations that I would choose would be, one is Pune.
Okay.
Because Pune has a combination of manufacturing, it is an auto hub, it is an IT hub, and it is an agro hub also.
Yes,
similarly, the next option would be Chennai. Chennai is also, apart from being into IT, it is also a major manufacturing hub. You could also look at cities like Ahmedabad, which are at the cusp of infrastructure revolution. You can see, we are talking about the gift city coming up in and around Ahmedabad. We are talking about special investment region which falls on the Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor. In Mumbai, the focus is going to be mainly on areas where you will see infrastructure getting developed.
Okay.
In the last year we've spoken about how the link road, the freeway, how the metro changed the landscape of Mumbai and impacted the real estate sector. Now the line 3 of the metro has been announced, which is going to be from Colaba to Seeds via BKC. So within Mumbai, we will see demand in these areas where there are infrastructure projects coming up. One of the areas within Mumbai looks really good is the area between Kalina and Bakola. Because as you see, that falls between the two business districts. You have BKC on one hand, which is growing very rapidly, and you have Andheri East, which is again a major, IT, which is a major commercial hub. So Kalina and Bakola are conveniently located between these two. Also, the metro will be passing by from here. The road connectivity is improved. So this is one area which is looking very good. From another area which is looking good is Andheri East. We have seen that how metro has changed life over here. And with the metro line 3 also passing by through Andheri East, there will be improved connectivity. So we expect Marol, JVLR, these are the areas in Andheri East which will see Chandivali, which look quite bright for the days to come.
So what about these suburban areas in Bombay?
Talking about suburban areas, where the supply demand, there's a lot of supply coming up. If you talk about areas between Andheri and Borivali on the western side, you see huge supply coming up over there. A lot of projects are under execution stage, and the ticket size of the project is also very high. So we don't see any kind of a predictable price appreciation taking place over here. Prices are likely to remain more or less stagnant. There would be demand for smaller ticket size affordable houses. We will see more of a kind of a one-bedroom kind of apartments, two-bedroom apartments, smaller size two-bedroom apartments coming up, where ticket size in and around 1 crore. That is where the demand is as far as suburbs is concerned. So when we're talking about the central side suburbs, we are seeing a number of projects getting launched in the area between Kharkova to Mulund. Prices have also already run up over there. So there also we do not expect any significant uptake on prices.
Okay.
What really looks interesting as far as Mumbai is concerned, as we all know, the focus of the new government is going to be on affordable housing. And we are not in a position to provide affordable housing within the city, including the suburbs. But there is a lot of availability of affordable housing on the periphery in the MMR region, and this is where we will see a lot of action in the days to come. For instance, on the western side, the Vasai-Virar belt looks quite exciting, and it is still possible to buy a good 2 BHK apartment for around 50 lakhs. In this area, you can get a 1 BHK apartment for somewhere about 25-30 lakhs over here. And important thing is that Vasai-Virar region falls under Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor path. So it would get benefit from there. Apart from that, if we move further from Virar, then you have Palghar and Boisar, which is also emerging as a good affordable housing destinations. And you will see more activity over here, more houses coming up, more projects getting announced, and you can buy apartments over here for as much as 15 to 20 lakhs.
Okay.
So coming back on the central side, you will see that areas, Thana has become extremely expensive. It is not possible to get a 2 BHK apartment for 1 crore in Thana today. So people have been shifting further. Areas like Kandivali and Dogivali are very much in demand. We are seeing new modern projects coming up over here, and this is one area which will continue to attract people for affordable houses. And Badlapur is emerging as a major affordable housing destination on the central side, and you can buy homes for about 20 lakhs to 30 lakhs over there even today. Other area that we are talking about is Navi Mumbai.
Yes.
As far as Navi Mumbai is concerned, it is going to benefit a lot. I'm sure that the youth and the state government is going to give a lot of impetus to infrastructure development. The international airport project should pick up, and so with the SEZs in and around Navi Mumbai. So we will see renewed demand and interest on the Navi Mumbai side. Currently, of course, there is a situation of oversupply over there, and prices are already moved up. But again, this is going to be one location which is going to attract a lot of interest in the days to come.
So friends, now is the time for a short break. You don't go anywhere, we'll be back really soon. Okay, so in all, affordable housing remains the key factor in 2015.
Exactly.
Okay, so talking about the residential market in 2015, how do you foresee it?
Well, the residential markets, we have to take them up the city-wise and segment-wise. If we are talking about Mumbai, in Mumbai, as we know, there is a lot of unsold inventory left, a lot of houses under construction, and like we discussed, in certain pockets, there is a situation of oversupply. So that will continue to remain. What will happen is, as and when the houses start getting completed, people will come, and as we have seen that there are investors are no longer there in the market. The demand is driven mostly by end users, and end users are typically looking at completed projects. Given the delays in the projects in the last few years and the uncertainties, end users are preferring projects which are either completed or nearing completion. So we will see an uptake or demand for projects which are getting completed. The new launches will happen, will there will be a slowdown in new launches, and there will be demand for new launches only if they are attractively priced or if they are bundled with some kind of a financing schemes in order to make it attractive for the buyers.
So does that depend on the builder's name? If he is a big builder, I know he has a brand name. Would that affect the new launches selling?
Yes, we have seen that, because of all this uncertainty, it's only the branded developers, the large big names, which generate some faith among the buyers, are the ones who are able to attract buyers for their new launches. New launches by relatively unknown developers are not getting good response.
In the past few years, we have heard a lot about luxury projects coming up, luxury homes, luxury villas, sky gardens and apartments and everything. Now, considering the market scenario presently, and considering that we are into 2015 now, how do you see the luxury market going ahead in 2015?
As far as the luxury market is concerned, we have seen an oversupply. We have seen an oversupply of luxury homes in the last few years, and what we have seen is they have been concentrated. Most of the luxury home supply has been coming up in South Central Mumbai, in areas like Parel, Lower Parel, Mahalakshmi, Worli, Pravadini, etc. There are a huge number of luxury projects coming up over there. Apart from that, we have seen some luxury projects coming up even in areas like Mulund, Goregaon, Andheri, etc. So what the prices have really run up. Affordability is a factor. There is no supply and demand. That's why the offtake of luxury homes in the year will continue to remain sluggish. But when we are talking about luxury, we have seen that there is a huge demand for luxury homes in cities like Mumbai. People can still afford houses worth 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 crores provided the right product is available. So Mumbai is one market where you will still see demand for homes worth 10 crores and above. But this will be, by a limited, there is a segment is very small, and they will typically be looking at an exclusive property. They will not be going into something like a mass, luxury project. They will look at typically a project which has a good brand, a good location, good amenities, and exclusivity. There should be a limited number of such houses available. Those are the ones which are going to attract buyers for luxury in the days to come. Another area within Mumbai which could attract luxury home buyers is BKC. As we know, the CBD has already shifted from South Mumbai to BKC. Most of the banks are having their head office and corporate offices located over here. And it's the senior management of the bank that is having their offices over here. And the way the things are happening, we are seeing the economy is likely to revive, and the biggest beneficiary of revival in the economy is going to be the banking sector. So we expect the banking sectors, especially the senior management in the banking, they are going to get huge kind of their earnings by way of not only increments but also increasing the share prices, because most of them are older ESOPs. So their purchasing power will increase, and we will see demand for luxury homes, particularly in and around BKC, coming out from this particular segment.
BKC is somewhere, where all the commercial and the office space is concentrated. Do you feel there would be any residential project coming up in BKC?
Oh yes. That has already started to happen. We have seen residential projects. There are already residential projects within BKC itself, but the prices are very high. So area in and around BKC is going to get transformed in the days to come. And my view is that in the next 10 years, the prices in Bandra East and BKC could be as high as what they are in Kapparate, or even more than that.
You mentioned compact 2 BHKs, compact 1 BHK. So what area could be expected?
So typically, a compact 2 BHK would be somewhere around 500 to 600 carpet, and a 1 BHK would be somewhere around 300 to 350 carpet.
Don't you think it's very small?
Considering the Mumbai apartment sizes have been shrinking day by day, and looking at the affordability factor, people will have to settle. They will have to choose whether to stay in a smaller apartment within the city or look at a slightly bigger apartment on the outskirts of the city.
That's a quite valid point, I must say. We spoke a lot about residential market. Now let's move on to commercial market. So how do you see the commercial market going in 2050?
Well, the outlook for commercial market looks good. In fact, much better than what it is for residential market. Last few years have been very bad for commercial market. While the prices of commercial property have not really gone up at all, residential property prices have been going up. And we have a situation where, the commercial property is available at a much lower price than residential property in many of the areas. And this is generally not the case. Generally, commercial property is more expensive than residential property. So we will see the commercial property catching up in the days to come, and we've already seen that happening. Last few quarters, the demand and absorption of commercial property has been picking up across most of the metros. So commercial property prices will start moving up, absorption will also increase. Also considering the fact that the economy is likely to pick up, most of the corporates will be on an expansion mode. Most of the banks, will be looking at adding more branches. There will be new banks coming in. There will be, multinational companies. More multinational companies are likely to come into India and step up operations. More IT companies are likely to require office space because they will be expanding. So considering all this, we see absorption level for common office space improving, and prices should go up. On the supply side, we have seen that since the demand for commercial property was sluggish, there were very few launches of the commercial property have taken place. So, and this will continue. We will not see too many commercial launches happening. We will see the existing demand getting observed, and after that, maybe once the price picks up, we will see new launches happening on the commercial side.
Okay, so definitely office space absorption is going to increase in 2050. Let's have a break. Don't go away. Now let's talk about retail space. How do you see it in 2015?
Well, we saw last year that online shopping is getting popular in India, and retailers are facing a huge competition from e-tailers.
Correct.
So the outlook for retail space doesn't look very good. And most of the retail stores, there is vacancy levels are very high across the country, and this trend will continue. We don't see any major offtake on the retail space in the days to come, because more and more will prefer to buy online.
But then, these online companies, even they have their offices, they have their godowns, so somehow...
Exactly. So there will be demand. There will be demand for warehouses, logistics, etc., but not for the prime retail space per se.
Okay.
At least not in 2015. Maybe once the economy improves, once we have the retailers chalk out the strategy, how the online marketing, and they come up with some new plans. Probably some of the more retail space which will offer more than just a shopping. They will be the ones which offer complete experience. Those are the retail malls which will do well. So the retailers will really have to change their strategy now to attract footfalls.
Okay, you spoke about malls. What about those, those little shops that we have in particular areas? What about that retail space?
Well, I'm afraid, that will continue to remain stagnant, because they're already, small shops were facing competition from big malls, and now retailers are coming to place. So the small shops will continue to remain, stagnant.
2015 is the year, that the real estate industry was looking forward to. They have welcomed it with wide open arms. And there have been a lot of investments by people, by consumers. Now, taking this factor in mind, what do you think would be the rate of appreciation? First of all, would there be any price appreciation, or do we expect price depreciation in the year 2015?
Well, as far as outlook on the prices is concerned, it will vary from city to city, from within the city also, from micro market to micro market. But the general outlook would be that as long as there is unsold inventory, as long as there is more supply than demand, the general economic law will prevail, and prices will continue to remain subdued, especially in areas where there is a lot of unsold inventory.
Okay.
So this will typically happen in the case, like we already discussed, some markets of Mumbai and NCR where the inventory levels are very high.
Okay.
Whereas as long as the other markets are concerned, markets like Bangalore, Pune, etc., which are more of an end user driven, we will see a normal kind of return, maybe 8 to 10% kind of a return in the days to come.
Okay.
As far as the investors are concerned, there is nothing much, to cheer about in the days to come, because the property prices will continue to remain subdued. Gone are the days where they will get about 18, 20, 25% kind of a return. They will have to be content with low returns in the range of about 8 to 10%. Having said that, there will still be opportunities for investors in emerging areas. They will have to act smart, they will have to do more research, they will have to seek more advice in order to make more money in the days to come. Gone are the days whereby they can simply buy a property, apartment in any location, keep it for 3 years, 5 years, get a return of 18 to 20%, sell it off and move out. They will really have to identify good areas, emerging locations, and do the study more and invest intelligently in order to profit out of real estate in the days to come.
Okay, we have heard a lot about the interest rate cuts. So how would that impact the real estate sector in 2015?
Well, this is going to be a significant development. The interest rate, we all know the interest rates have been quite high, and RBI governor has been stubbornly holding on to interest rate, considering that fiscal deficit situation. The oil prices have been coming down, and we are now hopeful that the RBI should reduce the interest rates in the coming quarter, and this will have a significant impact in two ways. It will not only reduce the cost of borrowing, but it will improve the sentiments.
Okay.
It will reduce the cost of borrowing for the home buyers, which will have a direct impact, and then EMIs will reduce, their affordability will increase, and then eligibility will also increase.
Okay.
So they will be looking forward to buying homes in the days to come. The other way it could impact the housing industry would be that the cost of financing for the real estate developers should come down. Whether they pass on this benefit to the property buyers or not, it remains to be said. The third thing that will happen with the reduction in interest rate is that overall cost of manufacturing, overall cost of manufacturing in the industry will come down, and this will lead to low inflation.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier the markets are sluggish. So what could one expect in the year 2015 pertaining to the demand-supply ratio?
Well, the demand for the property will depend upon the affordability. If the homes are affordable, there will be a demand.
Okay.
If the prices continue to remain where they are today, and the interest rates do not come down, if the people's income do not come down, and the bill do not go up, then there will be a stagnation. But if we see interest rates coming down, if you see people getting increments, most of the sector is expecting increment in double digits in the days to come. But then the sentiments will change, and then we will see people coming down to buy houses.
Okay.
But that will not immediately lead to increase in the prices. At least it will be a good thing. The fund flow to the developer will improve, the activity level will start, and there will be momentum. And probably maybe we will see kind of towards the end of the year or beginning of next year, prices will start falling up a little bit.
In and all, one could say that 2015 is going to be the year for the real estate sector.
Well, you can say it will be a turnaround year for the
Okay.
real estate area. Things are turning around.
Okay. Sir, thank you so much for coming on our show. We are really grateful to you for giving us your precious time. So this was Mr. Paresh Karia speaking on the real estate industry in the year 2015. Now let's hope this new year brings new hope for everyone, right from developers, builders to us, consumers, the end users and the investors. With this, I take a leave. You keep watching Spin TV. Goodbye. Take care.